are sexually compatible.
Oh, thank the stars.
Hello, my name is Nigeria Chambers of Big Gold Belt Media. How you doing today?
Hello. Good. How are you?
Awesome. Doing great. Thank you. My first question I want to know is what made you two take more of a backstage approach as being hosts? Most reality shows, usually the hosts are very, present and there to there, but you kind of sat back on this one.
Yeah, there's a lot of back and forth on that, but the way we kind of played out in the end was the decision was that astrology was more interesting to maybe watch through the characters unfolding and experiencing. However, we do, at the end of every episode, we just shot some X-ray content. So you'll be able to learn from us about all the facets of your chart. So so we're there. We're there with you.
So I know, I kind of went back and forth on this question because again, most reality shows is more of a crash and burn type of situation where it's like, hey, you're all here because of one thing, good luck. But I love how this was an experiment, but also like a seminar to an extent where you learned in each episode. And when people started to kind of get off the charts a little bit, you kind of grounded them again. So, much respect to you two's career and everything you do. But when you came into this show, was that one of the hard requirements is that you make sure that the education and the teachers was very relevant each and every episode?
Yeah, well, we did all of the education and the scripting and the guidance. We spent months with people's charts, looking at every facet of them and very complex astrology. So yes, that was very important. And the reason a lot of other reality shows are crash and burn is because you just throw all these people together and then the only thing there is to make things interesting is the drama they create.
Yes.
And so you need to bring in these really unstable kind of situations or even people to create that, but astrology prevented that. It was like, here's something that we can talk about and use as our device to create intimacy. So it's great that way.
I love it. Now, whether you choose to answer this question or not, but was there any particular people, even before things got to roll in, upon the education and learning their charts, that you kind of was like, I got a feeling this one's going to either it's going to work or it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be probably some of the most entertaining aspects of the season.
We had a few people like that. And we know that relationships like that, I mean, it was an experiment. And, sometimes people who are 5 signs apart, they have nothing in common astrologically, but they are just like, they are like this karmic, moth to a flame. And so we did have a couple matches like that, and they were pretty hot, I gotta say, in every way.
Yeah, I feel like you might be talking about Noelle and a certain individual that was so like,
we might not. Start placing your bets now. It's that kind of a show. We love Noelle's stories. Yes.
Oh yeah. I feel like also the Astro Chamber is like something that needs to be put into production. Everybody needs that type of friend in their life, to tell you what it is. And I think like Maria was one that really was having to face the facts over and over. And Noelle too, but Maria for sure was kind of like, once she started to kind of float around, you go to Astro Chamber, she's like, okay, that's right. I'm here for a reason. Which really brings me to my other question is that, was there anybody that you truly had to get to buy in? Whether it was the singles or one of the elements that you just were just like, hey, trust the process. And they were kind of a little bit reluctant, but you're like, listen.
Phoebe was a little bit of a tough nut to crack. She's our fire element. Mm-hmm. Now she's a Leo with a Leo rising. But once we started talking about her moon sign, which is in Pisces, and then she has Venus in Cancer. So she has this very soft, vulnerable side to her that she really had to be coaxed into revealing. And, in some ways, we wish we would have been able to tell her that up front because she made some, we have to watch the show, but she made some choices that weren't in the best interest of her chart. And she learned some lessons on the show.
Yeah, I feel like at times, she was kind of mirroring things she might have heard in her past, maybe even some of her therapy sessions that she had, but there's times you can see her kind of get into like not more of a part of the experiment, but like I'm going to dictate the experiment. I'm going to project what I think should happen here, and that's where you see that kind of conflict.
Yeah. So Leo. To everyone, even the way they defied, the Astro Chamber advice was true to their sign. What sign are you, by the way?
Yeah. Now, last question, since we're up on 1 minute. The singles, was there just anything inside of the singles room that you just you didn't see coming? And the reason I asked about the singles is because we see in the show that, like, the elements have Astro Chamber training and teachings. The singles is kind of like where you're here because you probably have your match, but that's it. But was there anything that kind of was a wild card in terms of the singles for you all?
Yeah, I mean, I think Chris R, for example, he's a Leo with a Cancer rising. So we were just, and also Danae, who's a Leo. They were very like restrained in this group, and they were not like, they weren't seen. They were almost the more low-key invisible ones, whereas a lot of times Leos can come out super flamboyant and they're there. So it was interesting. It took them a while to warm up, but once they did, it was like, okay, there's the lion. Yep.
Well, I really enjoyed this, especially the time capsule episode. I was just all in tears. And I think that's where we saw truly the best side of humanity, the best side of everybody involved. And, hopefully I think that's what clicked and made everybody really feel like this could work, So
that's what we love most about the show, is that it did have the love, and cosmic love was like, it really, the cast, they bonded, and I don't think you see that on most reality shows. That's the beauty of astrology. It actually brings people together in a really lovely way.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time. I cannot wait for folks to check this out, and hopefully we get a chance to talk again.
Yeah, what sign are you? We're dying to know now.
I am Libra? Capricorn.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Capricorn sun, Virgo moon, I believe. I looked it up today because I knew that question was going to happen.
Okay, nice. We had to know. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.